everybody, and welcome back to our final episode of Sign the Traitors for the Traitors US Season 2. I am your host, Katie, and I am here, as always, with my very faithful co-host, Javier. Javier, we're here. We made it. How you feeling?
Yes, we made it to the end. And I think I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. I am kind of ready for this to be over. Honestly, what I look forward to with the Traitors has been just to talk with you more so than even watching the episodes. So maybe after we talk, I might enjoy the finale a bit more than I did, but we'll see.
I'm so with you. This is the bright spot of my Traitors week is chatting with you about it. Only in the last few weeks. I was enjoying it. We talked. It's been a little bit of slow burn. Our journey has been long. Started off with a bang, got a little slow towards the end, and now this finale really took us to places I didn't think we were going to go. And then the reunion, I feel like, I don't know if you've been in on the discourse since the episode aired and the finale aired, and the reunion especially, but people are mad. There's a lot of opinions out there. A lot of opinions. What's your overall thought? And before we get into the details, I think we can bury the lead here. CT and Trishelle are our winners. Shout out to me and Janelle, I think, as our co-draft winners here on season 2. But thank you. What are you feeling? What were your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not shocked about who won. It's not who I wanted to win. I think it was honestly the most boring option of the finale winners. I mean, props to them. As much as I don't like Trishelle, like she was Peter's second-hand woman in the whole game, and she played, so good for her, I guess. CT, honestly, I don't know if it's a controversial take, but I really don't know if CT really did much to win except just be liked, which is a lot, I guess, but it's not an impressive game it's not as impressive as someone who really maneuvered their way to the end. And dare I say, I think Trishelle is more deserving of a winner than CT.
I kind of felt that way too coming into it. I hate to say it because we are not fans of Trishelle.
So that's kind of where I'm at with the winners. What about you?
I'm in the same place as you. I mean, CT from a mission perspective carried. Like they would have no money if it weren't for that man. So like he definitely deserves most of it, some of it, part of it. I think how we got there was an interesting journey, and we'll talk about it. We'll get into all the details, but I was rewatching, taking notes, and the first time I watched it, I was very upset with the ending. This time, I'm still not happy with the two that are there, but I can say Trishelle, of all of them, unfortunately really showed up and used her brain more than the rest of them all put together. So I have to hand it to her, unfortunately, even though I don't want to, because again, it doesn't change the way I feel about her as a person and as a character of the season.
Yeah.
But especially in that finale, I think she rubbed some brain cells together and got where she needed to get to. So they earned it. Whether or not we're happy about it, they earned it.
Agreed. Good for them.
Good for them. Shout out to them. And I do, I love some CT. I left this episode feeling very annoyed at CT, but we can get into all the details. We can jump in. The first thing I want to ask you is Kate's choice to murder Sheree. What are we thinking about this here?
I would have murdered Trishelle or CT right away.
Thank you.
I would have murdered one of those two. Like, I'm going to put heat on Sandra. Why keep Trishelle, who honestly has been playing a good game? If I'm in this game and I've seen like Trishelle call out multiple traitors, Trishelle's been in power a lot of times, I'm going to take Trishelle out. That's my biggest fear in this game at the end game would be Trishelle.
Yes.
And I have no relation with CT. Like, why do I want to keep CT around? So I definitely would have Sheree, MJ, and Kate could have easily made it to the final. Would Kate have won? Probably not. But still, like, I do not think killing Sheree. Like, I understand her logic of maybe it'll take people off my scent, but I wasn't buying it. It's too late in the game to really try to take anyone off your trail,
Yeah, I am with you 1,000%. I was like, where was this thought process like weeks ago when Phaedra should have been doing it? And that's more, I guess, of a knock on Phaedra than anybody. But like, I don't know. This felt like such a weird random shot in the dark to me to take out Sheree when people other than Sandra, as far as we knew, weren't really onto her anyway. So it almost feels like murdering Trishelle could have taken them just as off the scent as murdering Sheree. Like this felt like such an L move to me for Kate, because like she could have had Sheree having her back toward the end and not voting against her. She could have had MJ. She could have had her little Bravo girl clique. And like, again, you're right. I don't know if she would have won, especially given her decision at the Fire of Truth, but we'll talk about that when we get more. It just felt to me like, why are we murdering Sheree now? Murder Trishelle. She's the one that is always coming up with theories and voting blocks. Like, get her out, and then you can get the other girls to vote out Sandra at the round table or CT one, and you're probably good. This seemed really like a bad decision to me.
Yeah.
And Sheree woke up when she found out she got murdered. She was like, yeah, it's Kate.
I don't know if I bought that personally, but if she says it.
You didn't buy it?
I didn't buy into Sheree knowing it was Kate. Did you buy into it?
I don't know. I mean, she said it. That's the most she said all season, so I believed her. But I guess
you after reading that someone. Oh, wait, they're not told who murdered them. I guess
no.
Okay.
Maybe later they revealed. I know in Canada they had that like little reveal moment. I don't think we saw that with. No, I think they must be. I just don't think they know. Well, I don't know. You don't think? You don't think she knew?
I don't think Sheree knew. Sheree's a sweet woman.
She is a sweet woman. Poor Sheree. Poor sweet Sheree. Well, she said she knew from the round table because of the way that Kate wouldn't look at Phaedra and like came in with a pouty face. I mean, who knows? You're right. Who knows? Maybe they took that clip of her after she already found out. Maybe. Who knows? But we open into breakfast. Everybody's celebrating. They made it. And CT actually did bring up, like, this is a little weird, the way that Kate acted towards Phaedra. Like, that seemed really personal. Same thing with Sandra when she came in. Everybody seemed to be on Kate at that point. What did you think about this?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it last week, but I don't know. To me, it just seemed like a Kate thing to do. But, in retrospect, after watching the episode and after we talked and after seeing like Sandra and CT talk about it, I can see why they would think that's like a very personal thing to say, just because Kate and Phaedra have been kind of, working pretty well together throughout the season. So it did seem kind of a little bit out of left field. Yeah. So yeah, in retrospect, I guess it was not the best move for Kate. I just feel like if I was putting myself in the shoes of one of them in the show, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I would have thought much of it. I would have been like, oh, it's just Kate being Kate. Like, but I can see why, some people would think that.
It did seem like a really big pivot from her defending Phaedra so hard and then getting so annoyed at her. Like, at the round table, it seemed like she could have just been like, I've really been defending you this whole time, but you're not really fighting for yourself right now. And I feel like we have to explore the option. And it could have totally kept Kate in the clear, but she came in a little hot and it seemed a little out of nowhere. But it seemed like CT was like, that was super personal and weird. We knew at the end of the last episode that Sandra was weird. Sandra was feeling weird about it. But MJ took the bait and she's like, no, this is a clue. And I think it's Sandra. Like, the fact that Sheree was murdered means it's Sandra. And I'm like, oh, dear sweet MJ. This is only the beginning for you, this episode.
Like, a lot of thoughts on MJ.
Poor MJ. Poor MJ. I was just very shocked that MJ fell for this, especially given like in the very beginning of the season, MJ and Larsa were like the first to suss out Dan, that MJ at the end is like, oh no, it's got to be Sandra.
And then we had that episode, like the first time Kate became a traitor, MJ was the first one to be like, oh, your energy's off at the breakfast. So
and then she gives us a confessional.
Yeah,
she gives a confessional like, oh, I think Kate's 100% a faithful. I'm like, what? A week ago you didn't. So what's going on here? Yeah. This was a pretty lackluster breakfast. Of course, there's only 5 of them left. It's the final day. Anything else that we should chat about? Oh, I did write down that CT, when Sandra knocked, was like, sounds like a Sandra knock, which made me laugh.
I was about to say exactly, because we discussed how Sandra was clocking everybody's knock.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. Well, post breakfast, we get right into some scheming, some alliance talk or vote talk. So Sandra is laying it on thick about Phaedra to CT. She's like, 1 minute you want to save Phaedra, the next minute you want her out. Like, this would make sense if you were a traitor and then you took out Phaedra and Sheree in one kind of fell swoop, right? And I was like, okay, Sandra, you're telling me something that makes sense. Her and CT are chatting. And then while this conversation's happening, Kate is sowing some seeds of doubt about Sandra to Trishelle and MJ. So there's really two options, it feels like, at the roundtable tonight. The final banishment, it's going to be either Sandra or Kate, which it seemed like that was where we were ending up at the end of the last episode anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was enjoying watching Kate like try to sow some seeds and you know, really kind of like a Hail Mary for her. And while you know, not I know how the episode ended, but watching the episode, I was like, can Kate really do this? Can Kate really outplay Sandra? So the roundtable was that was maybe the most interesting part of the finale.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah. Close to I think so. I actually really enjoyed watching Kate play the game this episode, and it kind of made me wish she was a traitor a little earlier on, so we could have seen her scheming a little bit. She was definitely much more active in the castle than Phaedra, because Phaedra was just, you know, living her life and murdering at the end of the night, but Kate is actively playing, which was kind of fun to watch. I wish we got a little bit more active traitor play this season, because it's fun when it happens. But CT and Trishelle connect, and then, you know, they're like, we just got to get Sandra, and the three of us have to vote Kate. Like, we need the 3 votes. That's where we're going to be. And Trishelle gives us a nice little confessional being like, I know I could trust CT. I want to win this together. We want to go to the end together. And Kate is the plan, which is like the ultimate foreshadowing to the end of the episode. Anything else before we get into the mission that we should cover? I know it feels like we're speeding through, but there really wasn't a ton. We were just saying before we went live that it doesn't feel like there was that much meat until we get to the roundtable and the end.
Exactly.
The mission gets me a little bit, and I have some thoughts. First of all, we're on a helicopter and everyone's so excited. And like, for me, I would be like, and for that reason, I'm out. Like, you guys enjoy, I'm out. And they were in the helicopter, and the helicopter looked like it took a nosedive, and they were screaming. And I was like, this is like the wildest helicopter ride. I don't know. It gave me a little anxiety, but that's just me. And we find out we are not making up the difference this season of the pot, which means the missions actually kind of mean something this time, which is great. I'm so happy. We had $158,100 going in to the start of the mission. That's the pot. The total for the mission is $30,000, but there are 3 detours that will allow them to win up to an additional $20,000, I think.
Yeah.
Bringing the total pot they could win is $50,000 if they complete all the detours. And this is like, it kind of looks like they're just hiking. Like, if they didn't do the detours, they would just be like hiking to a boat. But they decided to take all the detours. And my issue with the mission is this. It's like, there's literally no way all of this happened in 60 minutes. So just stop lying. Stop lying.
There's no way. No. Not even CT could have done all of that in 60 minutes. And he pretty much did all of it.
He pretty much did do all of it. And like, they start off and they're like spelunking. I don't even know if that's the term, spelunking. It looked like they were spelunking. And then they're like, okay, let's go to the first detour. And they spend 20 minutes in the first detour just pulling in like nets or traps or something, looking for a flag. That took 20 minutes. So now we're down to 40 minutes. Then they go to another detour and it's just like rocks, and they're just like looking around some rocks. And Trishelle and Sandra don't even go. And they're just sitting around waiting. And I'm like, okay, so you guys aren't even going to go try and do the other detour while they're doing this one? Like, I don't really understand what's happening here. And then CT has to circle back to the start of the mission to find a lock, a combination for a lock. And it looked like it only took like 2 minutes off the clock. I was like, dude, there's literally no way CT ran back to the start of the mission unless it was literally 10 feet away and then circled back and it only took 2 minutes. They're lying.
Yeah, I was like, CT is not the Flash. Like,
no, he is not.
So yeah, I agree. This challenge, I don't believe it took them an hour to do all of this.
No. Then they had to like abseil, which is a term I don't know, but this was the final mission in the UK as well, and they also called it abseiling, and I was like, maybe that's a UK term, but I guess it's not. I don't know. I'm not outdoorsy, so I really don't know, but I'm sure it's a thing. And they have 15 minutes left from this point, and it says that it only took them when Kate started, they had 12 minutes left, and CT, MJ, and Trishelle had already gone. I'm sorry, there's no way all 3 of those people could have done that in 3 minutes. And then they decide to go to the last detour to get an extra like $5,000 or $10,000. I'm like, you guys, we're on the clock here. What are we doing? But they ended up making it, and I don't understand how they did it. It just doesn't. I want to see the raw footage.
Yeah, unedited. Come on, give it to me.
I mean, there have been some egregious moments this season with the timer, but like this is the most egregious.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about this challenge? I mean, it was basically CT doing a final by himself.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That literally gave me vibes of I was watching a final on the challenge. We got like one little conversation. I think it was Sandra and Trishelle when they were alone. Trishelle would be like, let's vote out Kate. So that was interesting, I guess. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched this at 2x speed.
Yeah.
And I looked away a few times. So this is my most favorite challenge to watch. I'll say that much. What about you?
Same. The physical ones are not my favorite. I prefer when they have like something to do with the game a little bit. If it's like a trivia thing, or there's actually a really fun challenge in the UK that they didn't do this season, which was unfortunate. It was like a kind of a spooky, like they were in the middle of a field with people in hoods and they had to put a puzzle together. That was actually really fun to watch, but they for some reason didn't do that this season. But I don't know. The challenges overall were an improvement from season 1, but still not that good.
Definitely an improvement, but
not my favorite part. Not my favorite part. So they finish, and their total prize pot for the game total is $208,100 is the total prize pot for the end, out of what, a potential $250K, right? Yeah. So listen, they could have made almost, what is it, 42,000 ish extra dollars, and they didn't. So again, shout out to them for not making the challenges mean nothing and not letting them make up the full difference at the end, because I hated that about the last season.
Annoying.
Hated that.
Good for Suri.
I know, good for Suri. Good for Suri. So anything else about this before we jump? This is where the game, I feel like, really starts to pick up, is on the way back from this mission.
Yeah, I'm ready to jump into that, with the car ride.
Okay, so let's jump in. So CT is alone in the car with Kate, with Sandra, MJ, and Trishelle together in the other car. And Kate uses this opportunity to really manipulate CT a little bit and starts sowing some seeds against Sandra. CT is basically like, so are you a traitor? And she's like, I'm actually really offended that you would say that. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as I got in, I was sussing out traitors from the beginning. And it's not because I was one. It's because like, I don't play this game for missions. I play because like I have fun reading people and blah, 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 whatever. And she's like, once I got in the game, like that's when you guys really started to catch traitors. And she, I have to say, played this off pretty well. I don't know what you thought.
I agree. I was like, okay, Kate is acting like, I was enjoying what she was putting down. I was like, okay, this is a good rebuttal. She doesn't seem like, she doesn't seem like overly agitated or like she's trying too hard. She was just being Kate. And I really liked the thing she was saying to CT. I was like, okay, keep it coming, Kate, keep it coming.
Yeah, she was putting in good work here. And once they, I guess, I don't know if it's like right when they got in the car, but CT kind of was like, oh, you did a really good job, especially for a yachty or something. And she's like, I'm a gamer. And she like really seemed like she took the mindset of like, okay, I'm here and I'm a gamer now and I'm playing the game. And she kept kind of telling us in confessionals how like I was here last year and I didn't think you could have a strategy, but she's like, now I have a strategy and we're going to see how we can go. And I have to say, I was impressed by the work she put in, because CT was like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, she's kind of she's making some good points. And now I'm confused. I was like, wow, it's really, this is working.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think someone that's seasoned like CT wouldn't fall for something like this. So I was a little surprised.
CT, like he said, I think he said in the reunion, he has been out of these shows for a while, which I don't know. Is it that long? When he said that, I was like, wasn't he on the challenge like 2 years a long time?
I actually wrote a note somewhere and I was like, are we sure that you've been out of this for a long time? I mean, you know who's been out of this for a long time? Sandra and Parv and Dan and Janelle. Like, they've been out of this for a long time. Yeah. Didn't you just win the challenge not that long ago?
Yeah, you won the challenge last time you were on. So
yeah, I don't know what we're talking about here, sir. At the mansion, everyone's getting some soup. They're all talking about how cold they are. They're getting some soup. And then CT, Trishelle, and Sandra go off to a room. And then Kate and MJ are talking. And they're like, yeah, we're going Sandra. Like, that's the plan. CT tells Sandra and MJ... CT tells Sandra that Kate and MJ are going for her tonight. Mm-hmm. But they're like, no, we're good. We're all going to like lock in on Kate. Kate comes in, everybody leaves, and they're like, Sandra's like, I want to pick your brain. I heard that maybe you guys were coming for me. And then Kate's like, I didn't say that. CT said that in the car. And I was like, and then Sandra's like, all right, then let's all vote CT. The three of us are voting CT. I'm like, what's happening here? What's happening? Is Kate really masterminding this whole thing?
Yeah, I got so excited for a second. They're like, I was like, okay, Kate, wait. Who would have thought, like, first of all, I liked how Sandra just confronted Kate right away. Like, she didn't beat around the bush. She was just like, so I heard what I heard, and what do you have to say about it? And yeah, I was getting a little excited here to see like Kate play kind of messy. Like, this is what Kate did here was very messy, if you ask me.
She was chaotic.
Yeah.
Going in between these groups. I loved it. I wish we had more of it. Like I said earlier, like I wish we had more of this throughout the season, just a little more traitor chaos. Because then she took it to CT and then was like, well, I heard Sandra's coming for you. And he's like, what? Then she must be a traitor. And I'm like, how is she pulling this off? Like pitting these two against each other. It's really a sight to behold. The fact that none of them are questioning each other is the wildest part to me.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I would have been like, wait, Kate is spilling to you, then spilling to me. So Kate's kind of telling us each what we want to hear. So why do we trust Kate? I was like, why is this working? But okay, I'm glad that it is.
Right. And I think the biggest thing here is that CT didn't bring Trishelle into any of these conversations, which obviously will come up more at the roundtable. But before we get there, is there anything pre-roundtable that we should dig more into? I mean, really, this is just Kate sowing the seeds of chaos here between these two. And I'm just shocked and impressed.
Same. That's really what these like little scenes were for me as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, we get to the roundtable. CT kicking us off. Everybody looks great, by the way. CT looks great. Sandra looks great. Kate, love her outfit, even though Sandra later on is like, her suit screams traitor, and she's like, thank you. But I love when a cast shows up for a finale. I like that. He tells us that he's played as honestly as he could, and that's why he's still here, as in addition to being a workhorse. And he asks Kate why she approached Phaedra's banishment the way that she did. And she gives a pretty decent answer here, I think, actually. I mean, it still doesn't really explain why she went so hard, but it does kind of explain why she flipped a little bit on Phaedra. And she basically is just like, when she entered the house, it didn't, I just joined the group that I could join because relationships were already established. So I joined the Bravo girls, and it didn't really matter which traitor went first at that point. So I was defending her, and she's like, but now the signs were in her direction. So it kind of went that way. So I thought her answer was decent there.
Yeah, no, I actually like Kate's answer. I wrote Kate is eating at the round table. I just felt like, how do I put this? Like, if I were in Kate's shoes, right, and I came into this game, and I'm gonna use you as an example, Katie. Like, let's say we're playing a game together, Katie, and I come in and you're like my number one, and then I slowly start to see hints that like you're the traitor and like you're having dealings behind my back. I think I'd be salty too. So I think Kate, like, what she said was kind of honest as well, and I think that's why it came off so well at the round table, because I think she genuinely felt some type of way that someone who she was close to was the traitor and was doing these kind of like, before Kate was a traitor at all. And then she didn't put up a fight at the end, which also kind of hurts Kate when you think about it. So yeah, I think the fact that Kate was being genuine, if that makes sense, and I think she genuinely was hurt, and it wasn't just her trying to like, sometimes people say things in this game to plant seeds or whatever, but I think Kate was just being Kate, and she felt some type of way about the way Phaedra played the game at the end. And I think that's why it came off well to me as well. I was like, okay, like this seems pretty genuine from her.
Yeah, I agree. And I even feel like, we heard her in the turret at the beginning of the episode saying like, Phaedra left me here with no plan. Like, I do think she was just annoyed in general. Like, she recruited me to this role and set me up almost for failure. So I can understand why she was annoyed. But obviously, if you're a faithful, why are you so annoyed at the traitor? I mean, but yeah, I thought her response was pretty good here. And in general, I felt like Kate had some chops this episode. Across the board, as we've been saying. But MJ flips over to Sandra and is like, you're a gamer, you won Survivor 2 times. Phaedra spends a lot of one-on-one time with you at the end. And I wrote here that Sandra was eating at this round table because Sandra gave me everything I needed from Sandra here. And I'm honestly devastated that it didn't work, because like she did everything she could here at this round table. And this is why I love Sandra because she was doing nothing but making points. She was like, I wouldn't have changed any of this for the world. I knew a housewife had to be a traitor, whether it's Phaedra or Sheree, and I was good. I had traitor angels on my side. They were protecting me to the end. Like, I wouldn't have changed any of that. I made personal relationships, used it as a strategy, and I was like, yes, this is why you are the queen. Like, you are the queen. I just feel like she's so good at these games, and I hate that she didn't make it to the final, to the Fire of Truth, because I just feel like, I don't know. She just gave me everything I needed from her. She was giving me tribal council energy. She was fighting for her life. And she even said, she's like, I'm fighting for my life here. I wish I was a traitor, but I did not have that privilege. Like, Kate is screaming traitor. And I just don't know how this didn't work, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I wrote in my notes, Sandra was activated since we were using that term
activated.
I really enjoyed this moment from Sandra. And, you know, like you said, I liked her whole Traitor Angel speech. And at the end of the day, I also feel like Sandra is playing the game how I would want to play the game, and how is an interesting way to play the game. I know I've seen some discourse online about the point of the traitors is to get out the traitors. So even if there's 10 people left, if you know who the traitors are, you should get them out. And I personally don't agree with that mindset, because at the end of the day, this game is also about winning money.
Exactly.
And I don't want to split money with 10 people.
Right.
Maybe I'm greedy. Maybe I don't understand the point of the traitors, but I genuinely think that the point of the traitors is to win money. And if you know who the traitors are, I think it's totally viable to keep them to the end and then vote them out when you can. And that's why I loved about Sandra's strategy, because it's how I think it's a very unique way to play the game, I feel, that I haven't seen from the seasons I've watched. And yeah, it was just great to watch Sandra make a lot of great points. And I agree with you. I feel like I would have bought into Sandra. I would have been like, wait, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I just love the scene from Sandra. I thought she did a great job. And like I said, like her strategy is a very fun way and interesting way to play this type of game. So I love it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we talked a little bit about it earlier on, when it seemed like, you know, Janelle was out there in interviews saying that the whole time she knew who the traitors were. It seemed like Sandra knew who the traitors were, or had an idea, right? And I think it sets us up for a little bit of like a dangerous meta moving forward, of like keeping the traitors in just because, and then you just get to the end and the faithfuls always take them out at the end and win. Like, I feel like that's almost game breaking if you really do know who the traitors are, but the traitors are going to play differently every season. Hopefully they put some twists and turns in there somewhere, so they don't make it so easy to figure it out. Maybe they stop people like the traitors from just being like, this person's a traitor at the round table without any supporting evidence. Would be nice. But I do feel like I really like Sandra's strategy here, especially because she wasn't really telling it to us the whole time of like, Phaedra's a traitor, so I'm just going to be best friends with Phaedra. It's like, no, we just watched her social game flourish, and it would have paid off for her in the end if she and Phaedra made it to the end. Obviously, that didn't happen, unfortunately, but I really did enjoy watching Sandra play this game. I feel like she played the perfect faithful strategy.
Same.
Love Sandra. Love her. CT says out loud, like, I am concerned that you are a traitor and I know you're coming for me. And Trishelle's face is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because clearly she was not looped in on what was going on here. She was shook.
Yeah, it was funny to me, because I feel like Trishelle has kind of been, you know, in the loop all the time. And I know Trishelle feels like she's been running this game. So it was nice to see her right at the end, like, be super confused and not know what to do.
I agree, but I feel like also this is just really bad gameplay from CT. Like, he's telling us constantly, Trishelle the only one I trust in this game. She's the only, but you continuously do things to make Trishelle not trust you. And I don't want to be here defending Trishelle, because, you know, disclaimer, I don't like, neither of us like Trishelle, but CT was kind of a fool in this moment, because they spent the whole day seemingly making this plan to get out Kate, and then he just flips it on her with no heads up. Like, you can't even just like on the way to the round table be like, I'm flipping. You can't just say like anything, or even just say at the round table, like, we had a plan actually to vote out Kate, but Sandra, now you're shady, so I'm flipping. Like, give her a little bit of a something or like a reason, but he just came out of nowhere. And then Trishelle's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I don't want to defend Trishelle either, but I do understand that if I were in her shoes, I would also feel a little slighted by the whole situation, because Trishelle, on one hand, has been CT in diaries in the show, And then CT does things sometimes that it's like, wait, is Trishelle really your number 2? Or right. You're just playing for CT? And if you are just playing for CT, let us know. But then don't also give us confessionals saying, I really trust Trishelle. That's my number 1, blah, blah, blah. But then like do little moves like this that then kind of make me as an audience viewer understand why Trishelle feels some type of way about the way you've been playing the game. So
exactly. Your words say one thing, but your actions say something completely different. And it just, Trishelle is just like, they get to the votes. Kate votes Sandra, MJ votes Sandra, and she's like, I hope you're a traitor, because if not, I'm going to be crushed. And Sandra's like, I'm not, you're going to be crushed. And I was like, this is how I need a faithful to be acting when they're getting voted out. Like, Sandra, I just love her. Sandra votes for Kate and then nails everything she says. She's like, Kate, you're a traitor. Phaedra probably recruited you. And then she just like lays out her strategy of like, you're putting us against each other, whatever. And I just have to say again, Sandra's an icon for a reason. She won 2-time winner. And to me, well, I'm not going to get into Survivor drama, but to me, she's the rightful queen. There's no king there for me. It's the queen. And of course, then Trishelle votes Sandra because she's like, you could see her like erasing her board. She doesn't really know what to do. And she's like, I just wanted to be with the majority. Like, I didn't want to be outside of it. But clearly CT, like we said, did not give her any heads up. Mm-hmm. And then CT votes Sandra. And CT is just so dumb. Like, he's just big and dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, this is kind of, in the beginning you asked, like, how do I feel about these winners? And it's like, yeah, I really don't feel like this was another moment I was like, okay, CT, like, you made a move, but I don't think you executed it well. So
I hate to say it. I really hate to say it because I'm so not pro Trishelle at all. And I feel like I have to keep repeating myself, but she is the only one I feel like I can defend at the end of this. Like, each one of them made such big mistakes except for her that I'm like, is Trishelle really the rightful winner of the season? I think she might be, unfortunately, which I hate to say it. I hate to say it. John in the chat says Sandra robbed Goddess 2024. And she is robbed. She would have been the rightful winner, my rightful winner. But Kate snowed this man. He got snowed by Kate in the car and then snowed again when she's like, well, Sandra told me this. And it's just like, this is literal high school. Like, she's playing high school games with you and it's working. And that's scary. Yeah. That's scary for a gamer, especially. Mm-hmm. Sandra says that her heart is broken. She never doubted CT and Trishelle and she doesn't regret anything that she's done. And she's still a faithful. But she's a queen. Queen stays queen.
I felt so sad for Sandra. I felt like you can tell she was like trying to almost like hold back tears. I don't know. I felt like Sandra was very heartbroken about this. And I mean, I don't blame her, but I felt sad for her. I was like, damn, Sandra, I agree. Like, you came so close. And I genuinely think Sandra played like an amazing game.
Me too.
And I feel like I wish she would have at least had the opportunity to go to the fire pit. And I was sad to see Sandra go at this point. But it is what it is, I guess.
She really, really deserved to be there at that end game and be able to decide if she wanted to keep the game going or not. Like, that has to be, especially for Sandra, who played such a great game. Like, Kate last season, okay, was she that broken up that she's the last one out before the fire? Like, maybe not. We always kind of knew that was going to happen. Sandra had a chance really to win, and she just got shockingly, I don't want to say she got outplayed. I think CT got outplayed and then just ended up screwing Sandra over, especially because she came in, they were locked in on a plan, they knew what they were going to do, and then she just got screwed. So I really felt really, really bad for Sandra. Maybe worse than I feel for what happens at the end, but I don't know. We'll see when we get there, when I'm talking out my feelings as they come. But Kate says that she's shocked that she's getting away with this because now she feels like she's the one with the least doubt on her somehow coming out of this, which I don't know that I necessarily agreed with that, but
yeah, I don't know where that came from. I was like, hey, all eyes are still on you, girl.
You're like, why you
might have bought yourself one banishment.
You're like, Sandra's a faithful, bro. What are you talking about? If she was a traitor, sure, but she's a faithful. Any last roundtable thoughts before we get to the fire of truth? The real spicy moments. I know. Shout out to Sandra. Shout out to our girl Sandra. I hope she comes back.
Oh yeah, I would love to see Sandra back as well.
As a traitor.
Which she wants really badly.
She wants so bad. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say that we got a funny moment from Kate. She's saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna frame Allen or Ferguson next." Like,
yes, that was funny.
So that was funny from Kate. You know, was giving us a good one-liners.
Yeah, that was funny. We get some little interviews with the players beforehand with Allen, which I liked. And MJ is like, I trust all of these people, but, and the only one speaking any sense, is there still has to be a traitor here because Sheree got murdered.
Yeah.
Hello, why is no one else saying that?
Yeah,
Sheree got murdered and Sandra's a faithful. Hello.
So there's still a traitor amongst us, which is why when we get to the pit, we'll get there. But
this was really ridiculous. Trishelle says she's nervous. The first part is going to be easy. They're going to go in, vote for Kate, but then it's between MJ and CT, whether she decides to stay or end it. Seems like it'll be a game time decision. And CT again is like, the only one I trust is Trishelle. I'm like, okay. But again, what? Because whatever. Kate is a true dumbass. She is a true dumbass. I mean, are you dumb? She's like, she says she's gonna lie and take home the cash. She hopes someone cries. This is what she says to Allen. And then she gets down there and she's the only dumbass that votes to end the game. Yeah. When she is the one who murdered Sheree less than 24 hours ago. What are we forgetting here, ma'am?
I mean, I was completely shocked. I was like, hey, what are you doing here?
So, what are you doing?
I was just, I didn't know what to say. I was like, Kate, like, you lost.
Yeah, you lost big time. Like, at least, I don't know. And then she votes for Trishelle, and I'm like, what? Why are you voting for Trishelle, who's the only one here that's so obviously a faithful? Like, why wouldn't you vote for CT and try and flip it and be like, we had a plan, and then CT flipped on the or something, you know, like, oh, CT was flip-flopping, whatever. She just votes for Trishelle. I'm like, okay, do you expect other people to be voting for Trishelle? Like, I don't really understand your logic here. And it seems like neither did anyone else because they all voted her ass out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Kate had like a brain fart and like it just didn't. I don't know what was going there.
Not much.
But I mean, I can't defend it. And I'm honestly shocked. I kind of wish that they would have talked about it at the reunion. No one asked. I wish someone would have asked at the reunion, like, Kate, why were you the only one after Sheree died to not vote to banish?
Like, did you forget that you literally murdered Sheree and then Sandra got voted out and she was a faithful, meaning there still has to be a traitor in the game? And again, MJ is the only one that was like, well, Sheree got murdered, so there has to be one left. Why are we not hearing Trishelle and CT also use that logic? Like, I'm just so confused. How are we forgetting? Poor Sheree. Justice for Sheree, you know? Everybody forgot her so quickly. Sad. She died for nothing. Even her murderer forgot she murdered her. So Kate's out. Bye, Kate. She's like, good luck, everyone. Okay, bye. And then we decide, do we vote to end the game or continue? And what did you think was going to happen here?
So I thought that CT and MJ were going to vote to end the game, and I thought Trishelle was going to vote to banish, because I really do think Trishelle was really doubting CT for some time there.
Yeah. I could have seen that. MJ, obviously, she voted to end the game, but I was surprised to see that CT also voted to end the game. I actually was kind of expecting all three of them to just end it. Because
CT didn't vote red. I thought CT also.
He did. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yes, he did. He voted red. Oh wait, yeah, they both voted red.
Yeah, MJ was the only one who voted to end.
Yes, MJ's the only one that voted to end. I was surprised that CT didn't also vote green, only because like, why risk being voted out? Why risk being in MJ's position where you could still. You got one. I don't know. I guess I could see both sides of it if you really are concerned, but like, there's no way CT was thinking MJ was a traitor. Like, there's no possible way. And Trishelle, I could understand it because of CT just plays funny games. He just doesn't really, I don't think I would have trusted CT 100% either. I have a lot of thoughts about this. I mean, and I know there was a lot of back and forth about this on the reunion and a lot of back and forth about this on social media. So I don't even know where to start. I guess, okay, so CT votes out MJ, which is just very confusing. And poor MJ is shook. I mean, she is watching this like we are watching it.
Screaming to each way.
Like you could see thoughts happening in real time that like she's like, oh, I'm fucked. Like there's nothing I can do here. I'm totally fucked. And this I don't love it. I don't love what they did here. Trishelle, I can understand it. CT, it just felt like MJ got CT'd. You know, we were talking about how he screwed over Big T. You can't get close to CT. He's going to be out for himself. And like MJ got CT'd here. I really feel it.
So this is how I feel about it. I feel that CT is a loser. No. So let me explain. So CT this whole game has been talking this big game about like, I'm such a faithful. I want to win with the faithfuls, blah, blah, blah. And there's no way he thinks MJ is a traitor. And then when he doubles down at the finale and at the reunion that he really thought MJ was a traitor, that's why to me he's a loser. I wish he would have just said, I don't want to split the money with MJ, so I cut her out. And I would have so much more respect for CT if he said that. But this is literally what he did to Big T not that long ago. Like so my issue with CT is that I feel like he doesn't ever want to be the villain. And he does do villainous things at times. And it is okay. You can be both a good guy and a villain sometimes, as long as you own up to it. And if he would have just, to me, owned up and said, MJ, I didn't think you were a traitor, but I didn't want to split the money with you, I wouldn't be calling CT a loser right now. I mean, he did win the show, but I just thought that I didn't like that because I feel like CT kind of had a bit of like faithful morality throughout this game. So to see him vote someone he knows is a faithful just kind of really irked me. So that's kind of what annoyed me the most about this whole situation.
I agree with you 1,000%. And I feel like CT is the type of dude who, and we see it in the way he plays the game. I mean, even with what he did with Trishelle, which I don't think he owed her anything with the torch thing when he saved John over Trishelle, but like he does these things and then he wants to just go run and hide and not admit to do exactly what you said. It's like he will screw people over, but then like flip it on that person for being upset that they got screwed over instead of being like, yeah, I screwed you over. I know I screwed you over. Like, my bad, but this is why I did it. He just will be like, well, I don't know. Like, oh. And I'm like, dude, no, like own up to it. And he does kind of say like, there's only one person here that I trust to share the money with, which I'm like, okay, so no matter what, if there was anybody else here, you would have voted them out just because you only wanted to split the money with Trishelle. You're basically saying it right there. But like, there's no shot that CT ever thought MJ was a traitor because he shared his thoughts with us this whole season about exactly what you said. I'm not playing games with the traitors. If they're a traitor, I want them out. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a faithful. The name of the game is to get rid of the traitors. And it's like, okay, well, you got rid of the traitors and now you're edging out one extra person just because you only wanted to share the money with Trishelle. Which, okay, fine. Share the money with less people. But it is kind of fucked up because MJ really tried hard at the final mission. She was the only one pulling that final flag up with him. She was searching for the canisters when Sandra and Trishelle walked away. I mean, she earned the money.
Yeah.
She played the game. I don't know. Trishelle, I'm giving a little bit of a pass for only because it was very clear that she had doubts about CT given his weird actions. And I think there was an interview with her too somewhere that said like, or she even said it in her confessional, like, I keep going back to the torch and why, she said it to him at the fire. I keep going back to the torch and why you didn't save me. And like, you switched up on me at this round table. We had a plan. And poor MJ is just like mouth agape watching them. And there's nothing that she could do. Like, that's what I think the worst about is that like, she was just put in a position where she couldn't have saved herself. Although she could have flipped her vote to CT in the event that Trishelle voted CT again. I don't know why she kept her vote on Trishelle. Like, I'm like, there's a chance here, a pretty decent chance, which obviously didn't happen, that Trishelle would have continued to vote for CT. But why are you keeping your vote on Trishelle? Why didn't you flip it to CT? Who's clearly out here to just fuck you over.
Yeah, exactly. I feel a little bad. I do feel bad for MJ. I do think she worked for this, but at the same time, I feel not as bad because if MJ would have just voted CT from jump, which is what I would have done,
yes,
she would have won. And in my opinion, if I'm in that game, it looked like Trishelle was feeling some type of way about CT. So, okay, people are voting people out. I'm a Hail Mary it. Maybe Trishelle's trying to vote out CT, and if she votes out CT, she would have won. Like, I think literally would have won if she just would have voted out CT at first. And like you said, like Trishelle was the obvious of all the obvious faithfuls. Like, even if for some reason you don't think either of them are, if I had to pick and choose, I'd be like, fine, I'm gonna vote out CT because I have to vote somebody out. So I don't feel that bad for MJ. And then she didn't, even though it wouldn't have mattered because Trishelle switched her vote. I also was like, come on, MJ, why didn't you at least switch your vote to, you know? So I feel a little bad for MJ. I felt a lot bad until I realized that MJ also put herself in the situation a little bit by not voting out CT there. And I thought it would have been the ending would have been much more entertaining to me if that's how she would have won. And she would just been
God, me too.
I mean, I'm just gonna vote out CT. So that she also robbed me of a more entertaining finale. So
that's true. And you want to talk about bitter. I mean, like if that happened, we would I feel like we would never hear the end of it from CT. Also, vice versa. If Trishelle lost at that last moment, I mean, we didn't hear the end of her not getting a shield. She cried about not getting a shield the whole season. We didn't hear the end of CT not lighting her torch, even though she didn't get murdered. She was still big mad about it the whole time. She was crying about that. So for her to be like, why are you so mad at me when they literally took money out of MJ's pocket? Like, Trishelle, don't act like you wouldn't be out here crying and boohooing everywhere on this reunion stage the same way that MJ is.
Like, imagine what she would have said, CT, like, this is why I'm not friends with you for 20 years. Whatever.
She would have never talked to him again.
So personal with CT. She would have made it so personal.
Yes. I just think there are a lot of hypocrites out there. I mean, the winners are the winners. It is what it is. I think it was an interesting ending. But I mean, I didn't see this one coming. I did not see this coming as an ending.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I do feel like I saw Trishelle winning this game.
Me too.
But I guess, so here's the other thing with me during this finale. I was getting a little excited when they were voting to banish again, just because I thought Trishelle was finally going to give me like good TV. And I think it would have been like I said, it would have been just such good TV if Trishelle and MJ would have voted out CT, and we didn't get that. So for like a split second, I got excited. Like, oh my God, am I going to be a Trishelle fan finally?
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. I think it's the overall question of, is the point of the game to only get the traitors out and end the game, or is it the point of it to take home the bigger share of the pot? I think is interesting. And I think there's a lot of debate about that. Yeah, definitely. And I can understand, I'm kind of in between. Like, I don't think we've seen this as an ending situation yet. And from what I can recall in any of the other traitors that I've watched, I don't think that we've seen this. Of the traitors, like of the faithfuls, knowing they got out the last faithful, but like continuing to vote to share more of the money. Like, that feels a little ruthless to me. Like, oh, you guys are the traitors all along. Like, you were the traitors to the other faithfuls because you were going to do this no matter what. Okay, now that's like a whole other story, right? You want to have this whole moral high ground of like, we're the faithfuls, we're the faithful to the end, except to this one other faithful. Like, you can go. We decided we want to share the money. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm in between. I'm 50-50. But I do think if you're the one that's on the outside, you have a right to be pissed off.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this debate, I do think it's an interesting debate to have. I think that if I saw it happen in one season, I'd enjoy it. But like you said, if it became a meta thing, I would not enjoy it. Same thing that we talked about earlier, the whole like alliances. I'm not going to enjoy that moving forward. Like, if we get another Peter Pals, if we get another Gamers versus, I'm not going to enjoy it. Like, in the context of one season, to change up the gameplay is unique and interesting to me. Yeah. I will like it for that season. But things like this that can mess up the whole, integrity, in quotes, integrity of the game, I don't want that to carry on throughout. And I'm hoping that doesn't become a thing. And I don't think it will, because I think the producers can like throw twists here and there to easily, mess that whole scenario from occurring. So I don't think we're going to see that moving forward, but I agree with you. I wouldn't love that to be the precedent set forward, because also that wouldn't be interesting then if I had to see the same gameplay. That's the other thing. Like, I like unique gameplay, and that's why I like these competition shows, because I like to see how different people approach the game. So if everyone starts approaching the game the same way, I'm not going to be entertained.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like every endgame scenario so far that I've seen has mostly been different. And I think most cases we've seen probably 2 traitors at the end going against each other instead of faithfuls going against each other and voting the others out, which is interesting. Like, it's interesting to see some kind of a new scenario come up. But I do think it's like, okay, well, the goal of the game is to get the traitors out. If you know that you got the traitors out, obviously it's not against the rules to keep voting. But then it's like, what then happens throughout the game to get you to the end in a situation where like you'll actually be able to win if the traitors are, if the faithfuls are also going to be kind of like cutting each other's heads off. It's interesting. I'm interested to see if we see this now as kind of like a meta moving forward.
Yeah, I guess the other thing is, in my brain, I can't imagine a season where like by episode 6 all the traitors are out. I don't know, it just doesn't seem realistic, and I think I have to see it to understand what it looks like, if that makes sense. So people just talking about it like Sandra is interesting to me at the time, If I see that actually happen, maybe I won't enjoy it. But if it's like a thought in one player's head and one player tries to execute it and one player flops or one player succeeds, that's fine. But if like 10 people, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe like if I see one person try to execute that strategy and either works or doesn't, that's interesting. But if I see a whole group of people trying to execute it, wouldn't be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. Like if it's like one type of different game that we're watching that's like new and exciting, then that's totally different. I also feel like there are just so many mechanics for the traitors to not be voted out before the final roundtable. Like they have to do the ultimatum, they have to like bring another, there's opportunities to recruit. I just feel like there's so many more opportunities for there always to be at least one traitor left in the game that I don't think we're ever going to get to. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Wait,
this brings up a good point. Something that I wanted to ask you is something that annoyed me about this season.
Oh, tell me.
So one of the twists, throwback to to Traitors Canada, is that in the last few episodes, they weren't announcing if they were a traitor or faithful.
Yes.
And I really missed that twist. Yeah. I think that would have made this endgame way more interesting. Even if they voted out Phaedra, if Phaedra just wouldn't have said it, I think everything would have been much more interesting. So I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while since I talked about Traitors Canada. But like, did you like that twist at the time? Because I liked it at the time, and I think I missed it this time.
I loved that at the time. Actually, I think that could have made this whole endgame scenario super interesting. And I also wonder if we would have ended up at the same spot. Like if they voted out Sandra didn't say one way or another, because I think in Canada it was Trevon who got voted out at the end, and he didn't say, and then precious Donna. I don't think she said either, but Leroy did say when he was left. So it's like, okay, well, were the other two, I think it just adds so much more intrigue and mystery on like if they are, if they're not, like, I don't know if my votes are right or if they're wrong. Like, should we keep voting? I would like to see that more moving forward, actually. I'm kind of surprised they didn't that here, actually. Yeah, I think Canada's the only season that did that, which I love that twist.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think so. The only one I haven't seen is New Zealand at this point. So maybe New Zealand, but I don't believe any of the others did that.
Yeah. So I have written down in my notes, like, since Parvati actually was voted out, and I was like, I wish that they would have do this like at least 1 week or 2 weeks, and then maybe go back to saying it again. I feel like that just spices up the game. Like, let's say 2 weeks in a row they voted out and they weren't sure, and then they got Phaedra and she was a traitor, and then the rest they keep saying it. But at least those 2 weeks they didn't know if like whoever they voted out were, that could like really stir up some like more drama, more interesting gameplay. So.
Yeah, I really think they should add that or bring that back or bring that to the US for the next one. I really hope so. Especially because I just feel like it felt like it was like dominoes after Dan out at Phaedra, and then like Parv went, and then of course Phaedra was going to go. It's like, okay, well, were you right? Were you not? Hard to say. Like, gotta keep playing and find out at the end, like if you're right or wrong. I think that could have made it a little bit more interesting, because I feel like those weeks were the weeks where we really lost a lot of momentum this season. So yeah, any additional mechanic would have been great there. Well, any further thoughts until we get into the reunion and some of the drama between the fandoms online? I don't want to get too much into that, just because I think everybody's really coming for each other's necks out there over a game that they didn't play. So everybody relax, take a deep breath. But curious your thoughts on the reunion.
I feel like the reunion overall I was underwhelmed.
Same.
They kind of kept talking about the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was kind of shocked that one person in particular didn't get more screen time. And I was shocked that Peter didn't get more screen time.
Me too.
Again, Peter annoyed the living hell out of me, but Peter was low key, besides Phaedra for being like the actual like joy and funniness of the show. Peter was kind of the face of the season, I feel.
Yeah, for better or worse.
I was shocked that there was not more time spent talking to Peter.
Yeah, I agree with you. It felt like it was a lot of nothing that was happening at the reunion, which is weird. Like, I feel like there could have been more conversation with Dan, and we didn't get a lot. I mean, we got some, obviously, and then they kind of went back to it, which is where we got Phaedra saying that he was a piece of shit, which to me is comedy. Like, I truly thought that was so funny, and people are so mad about it, but like the way that she just nonchalantly was like,
yeah,
he's a piece of shit. It made me laugh so hard. And then everybody I know online is very butthurt over it. But to me, it's just, these girls are used to showing up for reunions, and they're used to like, the Housewives like meta is like, you're fighting for your job next season at the reunion. So you're always going to show up looking great. You want to be sitting next to Andy. You want to be saying crazy shit. And like, that's what they're used to. So I'm not surprised to see an MJ and a Phaedra really show up. And Phaedra showed up, and it was funny to me. Like, I was laughing. Clearly, like, she wasn't going super deeply personal and being like, whatever. But like, I mean, I guess saying he's a piece of shit is personal, but it just was funny. Like, I don't know. It just felt funny to me. It didn't feel like she was trying to cut him down. She was like, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was entertained. And again, I'm a big Dan fan, and I don't know. I just found it funny. Like, Phaedra's allowed to feel the way she feels. And
right.
That's how I felt like a lot about this reunion. Like, MJ's allowed to feel the way she feels. Phaedra's allowed to feel the way she feels. They talked about it in the reunion as well. Like, they're not from this type of game show. So that, people's experiences shape how they react to things. And I think, yes, they signed up for this. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite lines ever was Spicy V saying, "You signed up for this on Big Brother Canada." And I agree, they did sign up for this. But I also don't think you can police how someone reacts to the situations. So if Phaedra and MJ want to be salty till the day they die, power to them. I don't understand why people are mad about that. And if Dan doesn't care, great, he doesn't care. Like, both can coexist, and I can like Dan and I can like Phaedra even though they don't like each other. That's how
exactly. And I don't know if they've squashed it now. I don't truly know, but I know there was that picture. They all went to Peter's house. They were standing next to each other. So like, maybe after that, it's all fine. Who knows? But it does feel like, exactly, they can coexist. These are people who have also, can we just talk about Ari is still talking about Cirie over a year later in interviews and how she ended the game. So it's like, you guys want to talk about people who are salty? Talk about that man, okay? Don't talk about Phaedra and MJ, who MJ got truly screwed over, I feel, at the end. And I think Phaedra had an insurmountable battle after Dan put her name out there. And it was really, so I can understand why she feels some kind of way, especially because she wanted to come in playing very loyal to the Traitors, which, again, she's not a gamer. So she came in, she's like, this is my role. This is a role I'm going to play with these people. And that's not really what happened. And I think she probably had some feelings when watching the show back. She kind of said it in the reunion. Like, you guys put my name out from the beginning because you didn't want to play. And Dan's like, that's a compliment. But she's not taking it as a compliment because she doesn't know that. You know what I mean? So I just think they come from two different worlds. I think everybody needs to take a deep breath. It seems like the internet is really riled over it. And it's just like, just let everybody live, whatever. They're mad. MJ wanted to win some money and she didn't.
And like, people forget, this is also at the end of the day a reality TV show. Like, what happened to having fun, guys? Like, just have fun. Just enjoy it for what it is and stop trying to overanalyze how these people react to each other. It's their lives. It doesn't affect any of us. Just enjoy it for that's what I think that's why I enjoy reality TV and why I don't mind this, because people react how they want to react, and I'm just enjoying it to see how the mess plays out. Right. Just enjoy the mess.
Exactly. There's so many people who love Big Brother and they watch live feeds and they're like, oh, there's a fight on the feeds, and they run and they watch a fight on the feeds. And it's like, you guys love that mess, even whether it's game related or not game related. But then it's like, this is game related mess at a reunion when everyone's like, we need a Big Brother reunion. We miss the real Survivor reunions. We miss this. But then it's like, okay, you're getting a reunion and it's messy and now you're mad. So it's like, which way are we going here? At the end of the day, it's TV. and we're all here to have a good time.
That's what it is. And you know what? I'm not saying, I guess maybe because this person went home really early, but Bananas is very salty. Bananas is
and he's a gamer.
But he is mad as hell at Dan. That's like one of the first things they discuss. Why is no one talking about that? Why is all the heat on Phaedra and MJ, who were actually slighted?
Yeah.
Especially like, again, you can say Dan ruined Phaedra's game, and you can say MJ. They knew MJ was a faithful, and they still robbed her of getting money. So if anything, these two have, in my opinion, more of a right to be mad than Bananas.
Yes, I agree 1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah, I know. And Johnny Bananas is the king of making decisions that make people mad, and then he's like taking it so personally that's like, okay, let's not get it twisted that people get in their feelings for the. And again, Trishelle, I feel like the whole game, it was crying the entire time. So if the roles were reversed and she went out at the end, she would be sitting in the same spot as MJ, if not worse, and would be crying and sobbing about her friendship with CT and blah, blah, blah. Like, we would have heard it. So please, none of them are above getting their feelings hurt.
Exactly.
The one person I do feel like was really making a lot of noise for some reason was John.
Yes.
What are we doing here?
What are you doing, John? Everyone's drama. I was like, bro, be quiet. Like, and I like John.
Back it up, dude.
This podcast, we like John for some time, but this reunion was doing too much.
I know, when he came for MJ at the end, I'm like, at least she made it to the end, bro. What do you have to? Why are you talking? Why are you always talking?
Like, maybe John thought he played this amazing game. Like, no, John, you were one of Peter's lackeys. Let's say the truth. Like, yes, you gave us some good moments and you were funny to watch, but bro, it's not like you were a master gamer who masterminded this game. Like, you were just there following the set game plan set by Peter, set by whoever, once at a time. So, John, like, you were entertaining at parts, but like this reunion, you were doing way too much.
Way too much.
On everyone.
I know. I saw people talking on, probably Twitter somewhere, comparing him to a housewife that was like fighting for his job the next season. And and that's like exactly what the housewives do when they have no storyline all season, but they want to get hired again, is like they come out at the reunion. And that's totally the energy John was giving. So whoever tweeted that out, they nailed it. They nailed it. And I do want to give a shout out to Peppermint as well. I think Peppermint had a beautiful moment at the beginning of the reunion. I actually feel a little bit annoyed that we didn't see Trishelle give some kind of a heartfelt apology to Peppermint, especially after the statement that she made. But I think she spoke on why this experience was so important to her and why it's so important to see trans representation on TV. And I really hope they give Peppermint another chance to come back, or that we see her more on TV, because I just feel like we need to hear stories and voices like that, especially given everything that's going on in the world. Like, shout out to Peppermint. I love that moment. Yeah,
Peppermint 100% had my favorite moment of the reunion. I'm so glad she had her moment to speak her experiences. She was a super fan of the show, which also makes it hurt even more. Like, that's like if I went on like Big Brother and I got booted out first, like I would probably be in tears. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Oh my god, me too. Me too.
Like, I would hate to be the first boot on something that I love and something that I enjoy. And yeah, she made so many great points. She talked about how when you enter a new space and people just act on biases, even if it's unconscious, like Peppermint, I said it when we were doing the draft. I said it during the first few episodes. Like, I love this woman. She is so eloquently speaking. I just love her. And I hope that I agree with you. I hope she gets more platforms to just share her message and just be herself. Like, even beyond the whole social political stuff, whatever, like Peppermint is also just super entertaining, y'all. Like, if you've ever seen her on Drag Race, she's just an entertaining person as well on reality TV. And we were also robbed of that. Like, Peppermint is also just entertaining beyond, what she speaks about, which is super important as well. So she's just the best of both worlds for me. And I just love Peppermint so much. So
yeah, I feel like her presence is just so important to so many people. And I hate that we were robbed of that by Trishelle and her dumbass. And I wish that we got Trishelle acknowledging a little bit of that, which I don't think that we did. Like, it seemed like Trishelle was just sitting there like,
I think she did say, like, again, Peppermint, I'm sorry, but not like it was like a moment.
I would have liked to hear Trishelle share something that she learned from that experience.
I agree that.
And I don't think she learned a goddamn thing. So that's where I'm like, can we get a little something from Trishelle showing me that she wants to grow as a person? Seems like the answer is no.
Trishelle's online beefing. Like, I saw her.
She is?
Twitter is beefing. Like, people half of the comments are people dragging Trishelle, and half of the comments are people like, don't listen to Trishelle, you did what you had to do, blah blah blah. So,
and she's engaging.
Yeah, she's fighting for her life on Twitter.
Well, good. She should be fighting for her life out there. She deserves. If anybody deserves to be fighting for their lives right now on Twitter, it's Trishelle.
Yeah,
1,000%. The other one quick thing about the reunion is that Sandra said to Phaedra, like, if you would have recruited me, we could have made it to the end together and like we would have figured it out. And that really makes me think that they would have shared the money. And I would have loved to have seen the two of them make it to the end to share the money. That would have been my ideal outcome, is Phaedra and Sandra winning together. And it's making me so mad. I just want to shake Phaedra. Like, you should have recruited Sandra. You guys would have won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It just would have been such an amazing final two. Like, no notes. I would have loved it.
Would have been beautiful. Would have been beautiful.
Oh, you know what else I want to bring up? Listen, we know Andy Cohen is a messy.
Yeah.
And of course, he had to be messy and bring up Larsa and
Marcus.
How I was like, wait, first of all, it's not even game relevant. And he just brought up out of nowhere. I was like, Andy's here just to get some tea. So I thought that was really funny. But it seems like they're back together, they basically said.
Well, here's the thing. So I watched Real Housewives of Miami, and they had a 3-part reunion. It just finished airing this past Wednesday. Okay. And it filmed before Larsa and Marcus broke up. So we didn't get like any tea from it. So then all the Bravo people are like, can't wait till the Traitors reunion. They're going to be together. They blocked each other. But then all of a sudden, like a week later, they were like back together. So I'm glad Andy snuck that in there for the Bravo people of like, okay, so what's going on here? Because there were people on Watch What Happens Live commenting on it. Like, there was a lot of drama in the Bravo universe about Larsa and Marcus for like 5 whole minutes until they got back together. To me, I wish personally that I tweeted at the time and said, like, this screams publicity stunt to me. Like, this feels like it's fake. Because everybody was like breaking down about it. And I'm like, no, this is clearly like they're going to be back together. I wish I put my thought in the universe, because now I can't say I told you so, but it was in my mind. But I love Andy for that.
Messy.
I don't love Andy for a lot, but I love Andy for that.
They also brought up the Peter and Ekin-Su thing. The fact that Peter and Ekin-Su might be dating because Ekin-Su posted a picture with Peter's mom, but they basically said they're good friends, which we know I feel like we know what that means. They're good friends. So
I don't know if Peter has good friends.
They're think not official, but they're doing something. Dates or something.
Something. Lord Jesus, not Ekin-Su. That's all I have to say. Not Ekin-Su.
We got a Phaedra segment too. I love that.
Oh my God, that Phaedra segment, like, they made her the star.
Yeah, amazing. We got all her moments. You do too much.
So many moments.
We got Ekin-Su. We got Burgalicious. So we just, and I don't know if you saw online like a few weeks ago, the Traitors like Twitter posted a video,
like videos of them reenacting. Yeah,
and again, like I've said many times, Phaedra was the star of this season. She might have won out in not an ideal way for someone who enjoys these kind of competition shows, but I still think Phaedra was the face of the show, and I think even her castmates know.
I think so too. And I think honestly, the way Phaedra spoke on it of like, I would have been happy for any of these people to win at that point. Like, I didn't, do I want to see her give up? No. Would I have loved to see her strategically try and get the heat off of her? Yeah. And I don't think we really saw that much from her outside of the roundtables, but I can understand where she's coming from, that she is like she built genuine bonds and relationships and didn't want to be the reason that any of them didn't win. So she's like, I'm okay not winning. I would rather one of these people win. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Agreed. I mean, there was no way she was winning the game anyway. There was no one that was going to vote to end the game with Phaedra still at that round table at the fire. So like, why not? Why not? Yeah. You're tired. It's fine. It's fine. Well, any final thoughts on this season as a whole? I can't believe it's over. It felt like we've been doing this for a long time, but I've enjoyed every week with you, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not every week of episodes, but every week with you.
Exactly. I was about to say. Oh, we also got a moment of Parvati saying that this was harder than Survivor.
Yes, which I'm surprised.
Yeah, I was in that because you watched more Survivor than I have, and I've seen like 3. I saw like Sandra win, and I saw like 2 or 3 other seasons. So I haven't watched that much Survivor. So you've watched more than I have. How do you understand what Parvati was trying to say?
I do. I think it's just a different, especially as a traitor. I understand what she's saying, because it's like everything you say is a lie. Like you're constantly lying, so you constantly have to be like covering up your lies. Where in Survivor, like you could play that way, but you could also play in a way that where you're like, I'm going to be able to build alliances and like win competitions to get immunity. Like there's other options, but when you're a traitor, really the only thing you can do is lie to people that you're making personal relationships with. So psychologically, I could see it being a harder game for sure. And then funny enough, Cerise said Big Brother is harder than Survivor. So does that mean Big Brother is the hardest game of all?
I mean, I think on paper, when I hear it, Big Brother sounds daunting. Like being in a house for 100 days with people
cut off from the world.
With half those people you probably don't like, or in Cerise's case, all of them except her son at one point.
Even who knows if she even liked her son?
Yeah, she didn't even like her son on the show at one point. So I understand where Cerise comes from.
Yeah, me too.
Big Brother, I would love to play Big Brother one day, but Big Brother does seem like a very challenging game.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. Valencia in the chat says, my Javier and Shady Katie, I've enjoyed spending time with y'all. And we've enjoyed spending time with you guys too. Yes. This has been great. I love podcasting with Javier. So I hope we cover more together very soon. Because this is it for us. Unless like someone on the Traitors reaches out and is like, interview me.
We're here. We're open.
We're here. We're open. We would love to. So come on. Even Mike, I've turned around on Mike a little bit, I think, from Canada. I'm softening. People have pissed me off more than Mike has pissed me off. So I'm softening on Mike.
So who was a better winner, Mike or Trishelle and CT?
Mike.
Mike? Okay.
Yeah, I think agree. Mike. Yeah, for sure. Cool. I think Mike. I felt like a ping in my stomach, like saying it, but I think it's got to be Mike. It's got to be Mike. Well, what can you do? Any final thoughts, Javier? Or in the chat? Anything in the chat you guys want us to cover that we didn't cover? We're here. For the last time, we're here. So if we didn't speak on it and you want us to, let us know.
Yes. I don't know. My final thoughts are season started strong. Ended not as strong. Trishelle, you're annoying. And you're amazing.
And CT, you're a loser.
CT, I wanted to say that CT, you got to stop girl bossing, gatekeeping, and gaslighting people. Those are my thoughts on CT. And if you're on the Challenge 40, you better not do that.
Yes. Challenge 40, I'm not going to say anything at all about anything, but it looks to be shaping up like it's going to be a pretty epic season. So yeah, feeling good about that.
What about you? What are your final thoughts on the season?
I had fun. I think the US is still not my favorite format because I do like seeing normal random people who don't know each other in this kind of a game with each other. But I'd like this season a lot more than season one. I think these people came to play a lot more than people came from season one. Not to take anything away from Cerise. Cerise is amazing. I think she played an all-time amazing Traitors game, but she was playing with some dunces that should have had some caps on in the corner, who are still mad. So to this day, still angry. But I'm excited for what they bring next. I mean, it seems like every person who is even like tangentially related to reality TV is like, I want to be at Traitors season 3, call me. Yeah. So that could be interesting. I would love the opportunity for some people from the US who are not reality stars to play, because I do think like the UK seasons are so good and Australia season 1 and not season 2 are so good that it's nice to see like gamers come up and play really amazing games, and then maybe they could be like in the ether with these other gamers, but maybe they'll have opportunities from other shows. I don't know. Get on another show and then get on the Traitors, I guess. That's your route to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't happy when they said like famous faces will be back. So we're getting a season 3, but it's gonna be all celebrities again. I think what they can do to make it better is I want some like obscure celebrities. Throw me someone from American Idol, throw me someone from The Voice. Throw me like people, maybe less gamers, because they were not great at this game. Actually, I guess 2 gamers won, so I can't say they weren't great at the game. But you know, like whatever. Either way,
I think Big Brother is bad at this game.
Yeah,
Big Brother was bad season 1. Cody was bad. Rachel was bad. Yeah. Big Brother was bad this season. Janelle and Dan were bad. Janelle was like okay, but not really, as she just played the game like it was Big Brother. So I think generally Big Brother players flop at this game.
Yeah.
So
maybe we should do like I don't know if this is a good idea, but maybe like a 1-person mandate from show. Give me 1 Survivor, 1 Big Brother, 1 Bravo celebrity, 1. Give me a Master Chef. Give me a Gerline again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So like, I want them to start picking from a bit more obscure competition shows or just reality TV in general.
Give me a Rick. Rick was so fun.
Yeah, and I just think that would just help with the whole like alliances things. Like you wouldn't pair Bravo celebrities together if you didn't have 5 Bravo celebrities, you know?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. JD says production moved up to filming next month instead of October, which is interesting. Does that mean a fall Traitors and maybe civilian version in the winter? That would be great. Give me both. Give me celebs and civilians. Like, give me Traitors all the time. It feels like we could just like keep cranking these out. There's no reason to stop. Like, you don't have to pay the, they're getting the money from NBC. Like NBC has the money. It's $250,000 maybe if they make that much money. Like you guys have the setup already. Just like constantly be flying in a rotation of people. That's what I want.
Y'all doing the same challenges, so y'all
exactly. You're recycling it all, so just like throw another round in there. It's fine. That would be great, though. That would be exciting. Well, I guess that's it for us.
That's it for the Traitors.
It's over. Are you, Javier, a faithful or a traitor at the end of the day here?
I am a faithful. But I would not gonna lie, if I played, I would love to play as a traitor as well.
Yeah. My lights are red behind me because I think I would be a traitor at heart at the end of the day, or at least I would like to believe it. And I hope I would play a better game than some of these traitors that we saw. But who knows? I would probably flop. Seems hard, to be honest. It doesn't seem easy. So
yeah, definitely is harder than it seems, As we mentioned before, like I did play my little like online version of it and it was very hard.
Yeah, but you killed it. Still so impressed. The video's out there somewhere. You guys have to watch it. Javier, so good.
I made it to the end as a faithful. So if you want to watch me, and when I play those games, one thing about me is I don't mind saying names. I don't mind saying nothing. So if you want to see
I know you were fun.
So I try to make it fun. I try to have a good time. So, but yeah, the Traitors seems like a hard game, and I think if I was playing it like on TV, I think it would be even harder. Just having the cameras on and people watching all the time.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, I still love the Traitors, even though like I know that's I think that's where I want to end it.
Yeah.
The end of the season that we weren't like that excited about it, but like I still enjoy the Traitors. I'm still excited for future seasons, because it seems like every season is gonna have some kind of different gameplay. We keep talking about like introducing different metas to the game, and if they stick for one season, I think that can be good. So I'm still excited to see what season 3 has to hold. So I'll be seated here. I'll be back.
Me too. And I have to say, again, I know I'm annoying and I give this PSA every time, but like the international versions now are on Peacock. UK season 1 and 2 and Australia season 1 and 2 are also on Peacock. And UK season 1 and 2 are like masterclass of Traitors. So if you want to see fun, messy gameplay from civilians and people you don't know, like they deliver. Both seasons are amazing. Season 1 of Australia is also amazing, and season 2 is infuriating, but the ending is something that I don't know that we're ever going to see again. So I recommend only for that. And if you want to hate watch something and scream at your TV the whole time. But I will say, we got to get the only other piece of feedback I have to give. I agree. I still love the Traitors. I'm excited for it to come back and I'll watch every version of it that's out there. I would like UK and US to not be out at the same time. So if we could shift that a little bit. And if we could follow the UK release schedule of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's the perfect formula. It's like 3 or 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, whatever. And it's like, boom, 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 you're done. And we're not dragging it out week over week. Like the once a week is a little too long, especially if you have like a floppy episode that's not that good. You really lose the momentum quickly.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that. That's super important. Yeah, we need to work on this release schedule.
Yeah.
One all at once didn't work. Once a week didn't work. Come on,
UK has it down. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I mean, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's perfect. It's the perfect formula. And then you could just binge them all in one day. You could binge 3 at a time if you want when they're out on Friday, and then you'll have a few in a couple of days. It's like you don't have to wait that long. So that's my final thought. But like you said, I love it. I'm excited for it to come back in whatever form we get it. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, it's been great, Javier, recording with you. And where can everybody find you? Tell us about Love is Blurry.
Yes. So everyone, you can find me at _thestarboy on Twitter. Catch me tomorrow. We are going to cover the last half of Love is Blind, season 6. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed this season. I'm interested to see what my co-hosts have to say when we talk tomorrow. Reunion is dropping on Wednesday. We'll see if we get any juicy tea from there. But yeah, watch next week. Tomorrow we're gonna discuss the rest of the season. I guess if you're listening to this another time, you don't know what tomorrow means. But if you're listening tonight, we mean as in the next day that after this drop, we'll be covering Love is Blurry. Love is Blind on Love is Blurry here on Silent Podcast.
I'm excited to listen. This season has been we said it last week too. The season's been so messy. I can't wait for the reunion. The social media has just been a total mess. Yeah. So have you been watching Jeremy's ex-girlfriend on TikTok?
I heard about it. I heard. Mess.
Not good. Not good. Well, you could find me talking. We're back on Bounce Checks talking Big Brother Canada. I missed last week's episode. I had a very intense work week, but I'll be back this week, and we have a very special guest, which we're excited about. I don't know if we've announced it publicly, so I'm not going to spill the beans yet. But listen, we don't have feeds. We do have digital dailies again, but the first few episodes have been good, you guys. And I hate to hype it up, but it's been good. And we have some all-stars back in the house. We have a neon sign in the house that says you signed up for this, like you said, for Spicy V. It's just, the cast seems good. I don't know, I'm kind of here for it. The competitions are fun and messy. It's been fun so far. So yeah, I don't know. Check us out if you want to hear us talking about it. We will be back this week on Thursday, but we'll be back normally on our normal day on Fridays with Josie and Isaiah, and Janelle, I believe, will be joining us also this season. So come check us out. That's what we'll be up to. And I have a plan. I'm returning to Twitch soon, maybe next week, more regularly. So now that the podcasting and the Traitors have kind of chilled out and I'm not hosting Big Brother, I'll have time to get back to the Twitch stream. So check me out there, twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore. And I'm on Twitter @RealSlimKatie if you want to keep up with me. And for Silent Podcasts, check us out anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Rate us, review us, subscribe, whatever podcast player you have and a positive thing tells you to do that. It helps us out. And check us out on YouTube. We record a lot of our stuff live. You can see our faces. We're here live right now on YouTube. We love chatting with the chat. So if you want to share your thoughts live with us, check us out there and on Twitch. And follow us on Twitter @silent_podcast to keep up with what we're up to. We have a lot of really good coverage. Love is Blurry, Bounce Checks. We have our Survivor coverage back run by Gia. Sarah Carradine is doing great Survivor Australia coverage. So we got a lot going on over here. So check us out. And we will both be talking to you all very soon. Who knows about what, but we'll figure something out. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.